What's going on? All right, it looks like we're live. It was a What's going on, everybody? It's JQ. My bad. We had some technical difficulties. We're trying to get it up and running. I promise we're gonna be back. We're unable to stream onto Instagram. I haven't been able to check Facebook, so we're gonna start in a few moments. We're gonna go to Instagram. Make sure folks there know to come to YouTube. And I promise you, we got John Jones here. He's waiting patiently. We want to get started. We're really excited, and so we want to make sure that this works. Just hold on for us. I promise we'll be back. All right. All right, y'all. What's going on? First and foremost, I want to apologize for the technical difficulties. I, like I said, I just went on IG Live and was telling folks how we were trying to stream it to multiple places at once, and it just wasn't working. I was trying to do the most when I probably didn't really need to do all of that. But if you know people that were trying to tune in and they're on IG or if they're on Facebook, let them know to come to YouTube. Send them a link. It's in my Instagram bio. Um, share it in the chat, put it in here, get folks over. We're trying to migrate everybody to YouTube because I was trying to get it to multiple places and I just couldn't. For those that are joining who do not know me, or this is your first time being introduced to me, my name is Josue Quinones. Many of my friends, my colleagues, and my students call me JQ. You could feel free to call me that too. It's totally cool. I'm a motivational MC, entrepreneur, rapper, speaker, academic counselor, coach, you name it. And today, what we're here to talk about is therapy. It's a crucial topic that I think is absolutely important in general, not just in these times. I think especially in these times, but in general, therapy is crucial. And that's part of the reason why I released this video entitled Therapy off of one of the songs that is on my debut album entitled Self-Care. We can get into some of that. I brought one of the people that I truly value their opinion. I truly value their expertise. I truly value their energy, their spirit, their mind, their creativity, their depth. And they're a licensed mental health, counselor. They're a licensed social worker, a master of social work. And when I say a master of social work, I mean a master of social work. You know what I'm saying? He probably wouldn't say that, but I'll say that for him. And we have lots of conversations around this topic of therapy and a lot of conversations around depth and existence and life and connection and community and healing. And so I figured, rather than keep that conversation to myself, why not share that with others and share that with y'all? So thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in. And without further ado, we gonna jump right in. And so I got my man John Jones here. John, what's going on, brother? How you? Yeah, good, 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 good. But you here with me. You here with us. Good, good, good. Absolutely, absolutely. So, John, for those who do not know you, who have never been introduced to you, who have never met you, and have no clue who you are. Oh, all right. So there's folks saying they can't hear John. All right, let's see how we can fix that. They can't hear John. We need y'all to hear John. That's for sure. Um, let's see. We gonna get this. We gonna get this. Let's see. All right, John Jones, Attack of the Clones. Speak now, John. Go ahead, speak, John. Can y'all hear John? Let me know if y'all can hear John. Because we definitely need people to hear John. That's crucial. Dang, still can't hear John. Nothing. Let's see. How about now? Speak, John. Speak to the world. Let them know who you are. Can y'all hear John now? Clearly, y'all can tell I'm an amateur. I ain't done this before. It's my first time. But we try to make it happen. Dang. Oh, we struggling out here. Nothing. Nothing for the man, John. Let's try something else. Let's try this here. Not yet. We working on here. John, speak to the world, man. He said, "Yer." If you get John, let me hear yer. They said nerd. Dang. Yo, still nothing. Man, this is all right. Let's see. How can we get this? We need this. Let's see. Let's see. All right. We're gonna try one more thing. Yeah, word. That was funny. It said nerd. No, that's built in. Um, let's try it now. How about now, y'all? Let me know if you can hear Mr. Jones. Can you hear Mr.
And
Jones?
can they hear me? I got to talk, right, for them to be able to
Yeah, that's
figure.
true. You do gotta talk.
My fault, God.
Yeah, let them know if you can hear us. If not, I might have to just call you on speaker or something. Um,
So
oh, they
whatever
hear
we
you.
gotta
They hear you.
do.
They hear you.
Oh, they
We
hear
fixed
me.
it.
Yeah.
Yo,
All right. All
we
right.
got
Well, listen.
we got the years. All right, yo,
You got the
yo.
right. I got the years. Now it's yours. Yeah. Okay. Let's
Yeah,
get it.
now it's your. Now it's go time. All right.
Let's go time. So what was we?
Look. So we were at a point where we want you to introduce yourself to the world. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and even if you could touch upon how you became a master social worker, a licensed master of social work. Take us through that journey really quick.
All right. So again, my name is John Jones. I'm from the Bronx.
Eh?
Like licensed master social worker. I don't like that means nothing to me. Like that's really just paper. You know, you get the paper and then the experiences after that is what you do with them determines who you really are. But I think that the journey to get to this place is all about my experience pretty much in as an undergraduate student at Binghamton University. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? Coming through, getting caught up in everything you can get caught up in that has nothing to do with, getting the piece of paper that you came there for.
Mm.
When you get to that level, when you get to the collegiate level, all you really do is play out whatever it is you haven't worked through emotionally and mentally while trying to have a good time. And
Mm.
that stuff will manifest. Some of it won't. Some of it won't manifest until you get into your career. But for me, it happened there ultimately. And I think that the support that I had around me and the people that helped propel me to get to help me to propel and become who I wanted to become and figure out who I am somewhat because
Mm.
that journey to know thyself is like forever, like it's literally infinite. Like they say like you die and your spirit is like still trying to learn. And you're going after this. This is just what that's how deep I heard it gets. I
Mm.
can't prove.
Mm.
But yeah. So I think that a lot of what I went through put me into a realm where I wanted to career-wise do something that I consider to be either giving back or providing to others coming behind me what it is I felt helped me to become what I am now. So that's what encouraged me to kind of look into the social work program, right? Because it was more of like a generalist perspective on providing services to others. I knew I had no specifics. I had no idea what I exactly wanted to do. I just
Yeah.
knew I wanted people. I said, okay, this is generalist. This is getting a little bit of everything educational in terms of the social welfare system, and I'm gonna choose whatever it is that fits me best based on my internship. And then when I got into the MSW program at BU, when I did my internship at the University Counseling Center, that's what kind of really made me feel like, okay, this is speaking to me.
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
I'm gonna move in this direction. I tried to go hard in my position, network, engage, learn the position in hopes that I would work there professionally. And that's like actually what happened, while going through my own stuff and my own
Mm.
therapeutic moments professionally,
Mm.
stuff that I learned about myself. And in order to do that, you got to become a licensed MSW. So I had to take my exam and the first time with flying colors, walked in there like, yeah, I no, I don't, straight L's, you know what I'm saying? And then I had to pull up and be serious, and the second time I made moves. And that's where I'm now in year 6 at the University Counseling Center.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Nice. 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 So just to confirm, folks, let me know that y'all can hear John. I know y'all said y'all could hear him earlier. Let me know. Make sure that you can still hear him. We want to make sure you get that. So John,
Yeah.
it sounds like some of your own experiences that you've been through is sort of what guided you towards, wanting to be a counselor, wanting to be a therapist. Can
Hmm.
you talk to us about what some of those experiences were per se, or
Hmm.
what exactly sort of what was the moment where you realized, yo, I need this?
The moment when I realized, are you saying the moment when I realized, like, I know where I need to go. Like, I know I want to pursue graduate school, or you
Yep.
mean like that
That
moment?
you knew you needed. That you knew you needed. Yeah. Well, we'll start with that because what I'm talking about is more so therapy because that's what I want to focus.
Gotcha.
But definitely, what led you to want to pursue your master's and specifically go into social work?
I think that ultimately in my undergraduate experience, I think that, like, the some of my lower moments where I felt like confused about why I was even, you know what I'm saying, I was so confused about my life journey and getting up into that moment. I realized that when you live your life here, it's a tremendous amount of programming. Everything is programs.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is programs. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't even got to go there, but if you've seen the Matrix trilogy, you know everything is programs, 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 programs. So a lot of times, no one you're not uninstalling those programs. You're living through them, and they've been given to you, so you do not know who you really are, what you're really about, or what you really want to do.
Mm,
And that got to come from within.
mm,
It's a mixture of learning, life experience, history, and learning coming from within. So I feel like I hit super low moments where I was unsure of where I was going, right? Which, how you gonna be sure if you how you gonna be sure of where you're going if you don't know where you come from,
yep.
right? How you gonna know where you're going if you don't know yourself? How you gonna know yourself if everything you know is a program that was given to you by either your parents, family, friends, media, what the world tells you? That gives you no opportunity for you to evaluate anything.
Yep.
So low moments where I just didn't have motivation to do nothing, right? No work, no nothing. Like, I didn't even, at one point I didn't even want to get lit no more. I was just like, that's like, it's whack to me. I don't know. And I felt like, I was like, yo, what is this about? And that's the moment when I was, where you literally gotta hit rock bottom to I had to hit rock bottom to evaluate, okay, something needs to change
Mm-hmm.
because this isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I don't feel like doing anything. Why is it that I don't feel like doing anything, even though I had an amazing time in my experience? Let me be clear about that.
Well,
But
we know because I mean we went to school together, right? So
yes,
I
man,
was there for a lot of it too.
I was having a good time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then it's like, okay, what else though? And
Right.
I was lost for a second, and that's when I started trying to search, like, okay, so how did I get here? And then I had, like I said, super duper mentors that played a role in kind of helping me look internally and look around me and see, where was I trying, where do I really want to go?
Mm,
Can I start installing my own program, my own
mm,
identity about who
mm,
I am,
mm.
instead of it being what I've been programmed to think I should be,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Which is a journey you're actually on forever. And that was, like I said, the closest thing I had. I had mentors that they was connected to that program. They was listening to what I was saying, and I was ready to, like, stop. Just like, it's like you having a good time partying. Then there's like, I'm partying now because that's like coping now. I'm like not even
Mm,
like stopping to like actually figure
mm.
anything out. I'm actually just trying to, like,
Yeah,
I'm numbing out there now.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Like,
Yo,
I'm not just, it's nothing wrong with living it, but with living it up. But I
right,
was
right.
you're not living it up because there's no living going on. Right?
Mm,
That's stagnation.
mm.
Like, you're actually stuck. You actually feel like you're dead, and you're trying to live it up
Wow.
to live, but
Right.
it's not actually happening. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yo,
So
because there's so many layers to like the things that you're saying, and I want to kind of try to peel some of those for the folks that are with us. So it sounds like, and I think very similar to you, right? I had a similar experience with how I got, because I'm not licensed, I ain't a master of social work, but how I got involved with social work and this idea of wanting to be a coach and a counselor and an advisor was based on my own experiences, right? And for me, it was in college as well, where, I kind of was living this life that wasn't part of who I envisioned myself to be or who I thought I wanted to be. It was, like you said, the programming, right? And so just touching on the programming and how that relates to therapy, and that we're all living through programs that were given to us. They were downloaded or uploaded into our system, into our thoughts, our brain, into our emotional, toolbox or what have you. And we don't always understand what they are, and we don't always take time to learn where they come from and how they developed. And so that plays out into our every action. Like for me, I was too busy trying to be the person that would fit in, and the person that people would like, and the person that was cool, right? And a lot of
Mhm.
that was based on my own experiences, either in childhood in the home or in school, and right, and having been othered and having been pointed out or picked on constantly and consistently for who I was and how I behave and how I act. And so that created a program with me, right? In terms of, all right, well, I gotta be like this if I want people to think I'm cool. I gotta be like this if I want people to like me. And I got right. And so that carried on into college for me, where I even started doing that then, right? And this is supposed to be where you're supposed to be a new person. You could start over new, but I still had the same programming. I didn't take time to explore that program to pull out the viruses, right? Or the malware. If we go, because now I feel like we just got to use that analogy, right? You got to pull out the
Listen, bro,
malware.
the
Um,
Smiths. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yo, Matrix is my favorite movie, and that's because of you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
literally
yeah.
because of you.
Let's
We
get it.
watched all
Let's
them
get it.
joints. Definitely, if
Let's
you
get it.
haven't watched the Matrix trilogy, go watch it. It talks about all of this and so much more.
It's
Um,
life.
yeah,
That shit is just
literally,
all
it's
life.
life. It's life. But
Okay.
so that's kind of like what made you go into social work, and it sounds like it was more so seeing what your own experience was like and wanting to help others through that. Is that a correct inference?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
because that's how it was for me, right? It was like I know how low I got, right, where I was on the verge of failing out. I was, for those who know me and have heard my stories, I started selling drugs as a result of it, right? Because I thought that would make me cool, and I had money, and I get girls, clothes, and all this other craziness that isn't really as important as depth. Um, and so it was like, yo, I know what that feels like. And like you, I had people that I could turn to help pull me out, and it was like I want to be that for other people. So how do I
Hmm.
do that? And I know you know him, and some folks that aren't here might know him as well. But Dr. Wilton, right? He was
Yeah.
that was that guy. He was the one that was like, "Yo, check out social work." I'm like, I don't even know what that is. He's like, "All right, talk
That's
to
still
this
that guy.
person." And yeah, of course, he is still that guy. Love him. He posted something I saw earlier that I was just like, "Yo, my man, facts." Um,
Mhm.
so it was based on personal experience that made you want to get into the profession. Now, you also, if I'm correct, receive therapy, right? You participate in therapy. You have a therapist. I know I do. I meet with mine. Well, I was meeting bi-weekly. Now I'm meeting every other week. I got switched that up. I actually have a meeting with her on Saturday. But talk to me about the moment where you realize, like, yo, I need this. Like, I need to be going to therapy and start exploring this programming.
So right now, currently, I go to therapy right now.
Mm-hmm.
I went to therapy for a very long period of time. I switched, what I'm saying, several therapists. I went through a lot of the processes. I think the getting to the point of going into therapy for myself initially really came. It was like I said, this is my 6th year in University Counseling Center. Like by the time I hit like second and third year, I knew okay, nah. Because you got to remember, this is where it gets deep. This is like unpeeling a layer,
Okay.
right? The urgency to want to give back is something that's commendable and admirable.
Mm-hmm.
You want your service to others to organically flow from what you love, not I want to give service to others because of my trauma that I've been through, right? So that means that I actually haven't healed I'm fixated on trying to make sure that others don't feel this pain that I felt, because I know how that pain felt. When life is experienced and you need pain to evolve, you have experience, you reflect, you evolve.
Okay.
So that is when I realized in the position of my work that I wasn't actually evolving past what I felt like I went through, or I would return to habits because I hadn't released emotions that I thought that I released. Let me do this work, then this work is going to heal. The work does not heal because the work requires energy. I need to heal to actually do the work effectively. And me hitting another rock and another wall again.
Wow.
At a level where people would think you don't hit that, because people thinking like, oh, there's you fall into matter, the material world, matter.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna get into it.
Yo.
The material world does not represent how you're doing internally. Internally is unseen. There's stuff, you feel somebody's energy, their energy is unseen. You can look on their face and have an idea, but unseen, you just feel it. So that is what had me like, oh, I need to go really get this service so I can really try to let go of some of what has played a role in putting me low, but also inspiring me. It didn't, but you need to release them bags, or you're going to carry them everywhere. And you already know what comes when you keep carrying them bags. You know what I'm saying? So that's I need to go talk, because I thought when you're a person that wants to help, your resistance to changing and evolving, you actually build stronger resistance because you think that you have evolved above seeking the help that you want to provide to others, when in reality, just as much, because you're just human. We're the same. We're walking in the same avatars. Like, so
yeah. No, I love that, and I think it makes me think of one of the analogies. I go back to the idea you shared about that being the unseen, right? And the healing need to be within, right? You gave this analogy about mental health in comparison to physical health. You remember that analogy? I even said it. I think I said it in the song. I think I said, you remember that analogy? Share that analogy. Go ahead, because I want you to share it.
I mean, at the end of the day, one of the things I always talk about with people is the response that we have to how someone could be doing physically, because it's so out in the open. It's up front, right? If they gets hit by a car, like that's traumatic. Like you're expecting they're gonna be hurt. It's something that you could see visibly. The injuries could be nasty. You're like, whoa, like this, like you feel for it. But when it comes to the emotional, mental component, that unseen world could be like getting hit by a car emotionally, mentally, but no one is seeing the injuries. Like if you think about it like that, that's wow. And then it's happening consistently. It's actually worse. You know what I mean? Because that you could have those injuries sitting for 20 years, 30 years, harden up, create disease. Literally, that's like actually how this can develop in your body.
Dis-ease, bro.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I mean. So the scene is everything. And if you don't got the culture, we don't have a culture, right?
Let's go.
Everybody talked about, what I'm saying, Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion's height. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff that's not how traumatized this person is. You see where the mind goes first? You're not even y'all didn't even conceptualize how this person is doing. You start creating memes and joking. That's mental health stigma culture. That's gonna make people not either feel uncomfortable looking internally, or avoid looking internally, or avoid being vulnerable. Vulnerable, if people want to joke about something that traumatizing, like what are we even doing, right?
Word. So there's a couple things that come to mind there. In terms of, dang man, I had yes. So in terms of stigma, right? Because that's something that comes up a lot when it comes to mental emotional wellness, when it comes to therapy. I mean, we kind of noticed and we talked about it, but talk about where that comes from. Like, where does that come from? How far back does it go? Right? Because you and I know that goes far back. Right? Like, that's generations. Right? So talk a little bit about that in terms of where the stigma really comes from and how far back it goes.
So look, this is a very multifaceted question.
Oh, I know.
you know, as I've said, right? I'm gonna try my best. I gotta go with the heart chakra. I can't fake it. I can't.
Yes, that's how it's supposed to be. That's what this is about.
So I give it to you like this. In reflecting on my behavior and my evaluation of myself for the year 2019, that let me know that even with the work that I thought I'd done up to age 30, trash. I felt like that's nothing. I didn't even scratch the surface. Myself, and it manifested in some of the most destructive behavior that I've ever participated in, thinking that I put in a whole bunch of work. So now to bring that to what you asking me, right? Historically, we talked about the programs, right? There's been programs that have developed within our communities, within our family home, childhood, society, that it's complicated because it's not really just people creating stigma, just because they don't believe in emotional mental health.
Okay.
Partially that, but then it's partially because mental emotional health has been associated with the medical field, hospitals, right, and institutions that have historically mistreated marginalized communities. That is what we're associating that with. Why? Of course, we're going to associate it with that. Of course, we've been through so much within our communities that there's going to be trying to be strong, right? And to uphold a certain, because that's what you've had to do. And what people are doing right now, as we watch bodies drop, as we watch people get hurt, right? As we watch the brutality of our people, why would we go to any institution,
yes, sir,
provided by the institution for support for your health when you have a history of medical apartheid, literally?
Yo, that's the book I was thinking. Yo, I was like, I know that's gonna come up.
Yeah, so don't people don't be going ham on people about mental health. Stigma is a reaction to oppression that people have experienced playing out in a way that is not conducive. It's not always conducive because we don't know how to because learning how to take care of yourselves under this type of pressure is complicated. So of course our parents, family members gonna be like, what you going to counseling? What's that? Like, we don't do that. Like, because that's from historical stuff that Dave's parents went through that made them like, okay, we don't trust nothing because ain't nothing for us because it ain't never been for us. Can't be really going in on people about not having that. Why would people, like, even now, like, therapy, what's therapeutic is what's healing, right? So if it gets to the level that you need to get professional therapy, even then I'm still trying to teach people like how we be independent of any systems, because systems do what? They fail. They don't come through. That's intentional. We don't even need to get into it.
That's a different let's talk.
That's a different let's talk. But at the same time, if you're on your game plan and your emotions and your thoughts are presenting a barrier to, then removing that barrier might mean making a move you never had to make, and looking out there for people, who are trying to jump into that institution and represent the stage one of you transcending not knowing yourself in that level. Because me personally, I think that therapy is a stepping stone, and the real work starts when you really achieve your goals in therapy, and then you go and you really work. Because who I am at 31 is a joke. It's a joke who I was when I was 30. Like, I can't even fathom this day, August 27th of 2019 versus who John is in this 2020, August 27th, is like, bruh, who is that man? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So the stigma is from historical oppression, right? Straight destruction against people, institutions historically failing, right? And then a reaction to that being like, yo, we just gotta be strong means to never be vulnerable, because vulnerable could mean danger, but actually
Yeah.
it's strength to be vulnerable, because in order for you to actually attack a problem, you have to acknowledge that it's there. So if I'm struggling with alcoholism and I tell you, nah, I'm good, but you see I can't even admit the problem's there to even attack it. That's an illusion. That's actually a trick. That's
Yeah.
a trick.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's the best way I could answer that
Yeah.
without getting into,
A whole
listen,
nother, other thing.
I'll say this bit
Go
right
ahead.
here.
Yeah.
Spirituality has always been connected to dealing with emotional mental health low key.
Okay.
We've dressed up a lot of stuff to look certain ways,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that people fall for the programs.
Mm.
Programs have you thinking life can only be viewed this way. Like this is only this, when really everything is together. You know what I'm
Word.
saying? That's what living this system, you divide everything, and it's hard for you to be honest about how your behaviors affect everybody that live on your block and everybody in the world. You got to do that to be illusioned into not giving a damn about the next person. That's
Yeah.
I
Nah,
stop.
I agree wholeheartedly. You know, and that's something that I've learned just in life and talking with you in therapy and just in general, is that it's all interconnected. You know, when I was working as a counselor for EOP in Binghamton, shout out to EOP or my EOP fam. You know what I'm saying? That was something that I noticed, right? Like it's all interconnected. Like when I'm meeting with one student and my door's closed, that impacts the rest of the world, right? And we don't even think about something as small as like a student being in my office with the door closed impacts the world, because the world continues to happen outside of what's happening in that space. Somebody could come to the door and see that I'm busy. Now they go away. I have no idea what was going on with them, what was happening in that moment, what they needed, whatever. But it impacts the next outcomes, you know, and that's just the most immediate example I could think of, right? But we think about some of the traumas or some of the programming that we play out in our life that impacts the world around us, the way we interact with people, the way we interact at work, the way we interact with our partners, the way we interact with ourselves, right? Because one thing that I always say is that no matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, no matter what you involve yourself in, you cannot get away from yourself, right? You are the only person that has to live with you and face you and deal with you 24 hours a day, 365 days in a year, 366 in a leap year, right? It's you. You know, you can do whatever you want. And some people, that's how they turn to other things and other substances to get away from themselves, right? To numb, to get away from what's happening. But at the end of the day, okay, so you might get away for that moment. You're going to be right back there at the end of it, right? And after some time, those things that we turn to cope don't work anymore. And now that starts, right? Like something else I think of is like everything's a relationship, right? Like you and I have a relationship. I have a relationship with my job. I have a relationship with money. I have a relationship with food. I have a relationship with sneakers. I have a relationship with my car. I have a relationship with my parents, my family, my friend. Everything is how you relate to it. And it all does stem back in some way to your programming. Right.
Yes, it does.
And so I want to go back real quick because I see that Melissa in our comments, she mentioned the Medical Apartheid book. And she said, you know, that's a book that everyone should have. And I agree. You know, I'm glad that came up in our conversation is, you know, right. And I have wrote it down in my notes, Medical Apartheid. It talks about that historical injustice with regards to the medical field and the medical institutions and healthcare institutions. Right. And they talk about what was his name? The father of gynecology. He's supposedly Dr. James Marion Sims, and how he used to practice his research on slaves, right? And used to be so intrusive with them, right? And that's something that's happened historically. And those same people are the ones that founded these systems that we're supposed to trust when they're the ones that manipulated us and our generations. Because that's another thing I know that you into, right? Like the generations that have gone before us, we still working with the traumas and the programming that they had because we're passing it. If we don't take time to get rid of that malware, we just passing it on. We're passing it on to our kids. We pass it on to each other because we haven't taken the time to really explore it, dig deep, and heal from that and put in new programming. So I love absolutely, man. I love that.
You just went in, okay. You know what I'm saying?
This is what we do, bro. This is what we do. And I'm just glad, you know, I just want to say thank you for those of y'all that are tuned in because, I thought this was important, and that's part of the reason why, I even wrote the album. You know what I'm saying? It was because you talked about that too, right? You talked about therapy being something healing, and that's what it was for me. The whole project was really a form of healing for me because I was dealing with self doubt. I was dealing with lack of worth in the moment. And it was all based on my own programming, right? Things that I had experienced in childhood, things that I had been told when I was a kid, things that I experienced in high school. I was carrying all of that, and I never took time to really explore it and get rid of some of that negativity that was instilled in me. And then I developed and started telling myself, and so in that moment it was like I need something to get rid of this, to talk about it, to just get it out of myself and expose it in a way, right? Because I think that's part of it too. You got to expose that, right? Like the fact that I have low self-worth, I still struggle with that from time to time. And a lot of people probably wouldn't think that, but it's the truth. It happens because that's part of my programming from childhood that I'm still working on getting rid of, and dealing with and healing from. And so this project sort of allowed me to do that. And so yeah, man.
It was therapy. The project was therapy.
Yeah, yes. So right, exactly. And we talk about this on the Tiger Eye Focus blog. Shout out to Tiger Eye Focus. I believe they're in here. We did a blog to kind of break down the song and the video, right? And we'll talk about that just a little bit for folks, right? But the idea behind the song was to break different layers, right? To talk about different layers of this concept and this idea of therapy, because it is important. And I do think, I agree with you. It's a stepping stone, right? Because people could even go to therapy and talk about all this programming, but when they leave therapy is when the work starts, right? You can go in there and talk about all you want to talk about. You can go in there and say all you want to say, but it's what happens when you leave that room, when you leave that space, that chat, if folks are doing it virtually, because I'm doing mine virtually. Everything that happens after that is where the work begins. You could talk about all you want to talk about, but nothing happens until you take action. And so, part of that song was talking about one, in the hook, I say, I thank the Lord for this therapy, right? I thank the Lord for the therapy that I actually engage in terms of professional and seeing a counselor, seeing a therapist, but this therapy is in the song, because the song itself and the album itself was therapeutic, right? And there's so many other hosts of things, activities, and stuff that people can do to find healing, which, I think is another layer that I think ties into this with regards to self-care, right? And this is saying I want you to touch on this too, John, right? This concept of self-care, and a lot of the times, and I think we've talked about this, it gets associated with activities and things you do, right? Like physical things that you do, whether it's getting your hair done, getting a cut, getting your nails done, a massage, running, exercise, whatever it might be. And I don't think that those are bad things in any way, shape, or form. I think those are forms of self-care, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I think the layer that perhaps gets missed at times is what's happening while you're engaged in those activities, right? Why are you gravitating to those activities, right? Because people could gravitate to other things. There's people that gravitate to alcohol. There's people that gravitate to drugs. There's people that gravitate to sex and use that as a coping mechanism, right? There's people that turn to social media or any other, you could replace it with anything, right? And so I think it's important to really analyze and take inventory of why am I gravitating towards that, right? What is happening for me as I'm engaged in that activity from on a deeper level, So self-care is important, but for me, and that's part of the project too, is like self-care is deeper than just what I do. It's deeper than activity. It's more of an internal healing. It's more of a understanding self and being able to heal from self and find healthy ways to heal. So I mean, what's your take on that?
I mean, so that I love the way you put that, right? I'm gonna go all the way left, but I have to come back. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
So if you really study ancient civilizations and even some of the stuff that they have on in around and around the pyramids, if you looked at what's being said, it's saying the same thing over and over again. You know what it's saying? Know thyself. and over
Facts.
and over
Yo,
again.
facts.
Know thyself.
Facts.
Know thyself. Yo, they no, they don't. No, they're not saying live like us so you can build pyramids. No, right? What people did is study the culture of that time
Yeah.
and misunderstood the science behind what they were saying. Self-care is science. It's not like, yo, let me go and just do something that's fun. No, it's evaluating where you are to determine what you need and what's good for you and doing something about that, which requires you to do what? Thyself.
Yeah.
Spend time to figure it out for you. So if I told you, yo, my self-care is I bathe with candles and I get like whatever I do, that's not for you to do that. It's for you to make time for yourself to figure out what you need, because only that's gonna help you to know thyself. The science. You're not, people are not, or like, listen, the 2020 modern hotep is not studying science. They're literally just dressing, talking, and acting like how people acted in that time. And our ancestors is not trying to tell you that.
And that's
They're
deep.
trying to tell you to know who you are, to figure out what journey you came here to do. And you can do stuff. Everybody's is different. So even what I'm saying on here, if it doesn't inspire you to go figure out you, then it doesn't mean nothing. Don't even listen. Don't even watch this if you're not about to do different. And if you look, if you even if you went and said, yo, I'm not doing nothing different, boom, you're already starting, because you're already acknowledging that something is not happening
And something needs to change.
That's know thyself. So that's the science. It's not a look, it's not it's none of that. It's literally figuring yourself out. And sometimes you got to get bodied. Like I said, in 2019, I bodied myself, and I came, and then like, and literally, that's funny, right? This is funny. They had a good relationship with what? With death. Right? We have a terrible relationship with death, because the civilization that built this civilization doesn't thought that was all esoteric, weird stuff that they didn't. We're not going. Long story short, the reason why they had a good, because the death of the old you needs to happen so a new you can come. So they didn't even mean death in the physical body. They meant death of what's going on here, death of the programming, death of the DNA that's trash, that's telling you to go find something, you know what I'm saying, feel good, and after you do it and you regret everything you did for the next 10 years. No, the death of old attitudes, the death of the programming. Not, you know what I'm saying? Because the programming is what's telling us that there's no reason to live anymore, because because your body is going, yo, you don't give me what I need. And I'm telling you that goes deeper. I'm 31 years old, 6 years job, like studying, reading like a madman. Go after I go and do action, I'm like, oh damn, like that don't even make sense what I was doing last month. Like, whoa, like you're supposed to be contradicting yourself like every other week, trying something new, and only determining whether it works based on the effectiveness. And effectiveness, you can start like, yo, what are my responsibilities? Can I take care of myself? Be real with yourself about taking care. Right, like that ass. Like if you can't do food, clothing, shelter, and that's, privilege allows for a lot of stuff. So that's what we working with. We working on responsibilities. I ain't even got time to get into the, what I'm saying, because my life is working on what I'm working on having what other people don't got. I don't got that. I got to move on this. So if you can, whatever you can handle and take care of, it's all about effectiveness. I don't care what you believe in. If what you believe is not producing effectiveness, it's a wrap. It don't work. That means science, rubbish. So, like I said, you was talking just now about the science of care, not what you think it looks like by mimicking what you think people are saying. Your self-care looks different for every person. That could even mean going to therapy.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It could be that could mean switching the therapist. That could mean acknowledging that you're done with this therapist and that you actually need to be independent and go do work, because all you're doing is coming in and talking because you like the way it feels. That's not the. That's just habit. Habit. You know what I'm saying? So
no, and I appreciate that, and I think part of what you said, right, when you were talking about that relationship with death and it being more so the depth of the death of the programming, death of the things that have been in our mind, death of the person we were to be the person that we need to be or who we meant to be. It made me think of this idea of people's fear of change, right? Like the relationship to change. A lot of folks are afraid to change because that means letting go of something that they've been comfortable with, letting go of something that they've, that has brought them comfort or that they're used to, even if it doesn't serve them anymore, right? Like even if it doesn't really serve them at their core, but it's like, but this is normal. What do I do? There's this fear around something different, this fear around change, and I think that that's absolutely true, man. Yo, so something else I wanted to sort of talk about, because we're coming up on the hour, and I want to make sure people got things to do, they got lives and stuff, so I don't want to take too much time.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And I know you got things to handle too. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we gotta let you do that too. I gotta be respectful of that. You know what I mean? So I guess for what would you say to somebody who perhaps is like on the fence, right? Like there's something in their life, they're stuck right now, and they're like, yo, I feel like maybe I need it, but I don't know, or like I feel like something needs to shake up in my life, but I don't know where to go. I don't know where to turn to. I don't know how to get started. Maybe it is therapy, maybe it's not. Like, what would you say to somebody who's probably in between and unsure?
I mean, my biggest thing is in the evaluation, because right now that means a person is in reflection or evaluation stage, right? Like trying to determine, or if something might need to be up. So in an evaluation and a reflection stage, it's complex because you got to be asking yourself, where are you trying to go? Ultimately, what's the destination? You're asking yourself, what's the destination? And then you're asking yourself where you currently are, and you're asking yourself where you've been, to determine whether you've been repeating the same thing over and over again and not arriving at the destination, right? But even asking yourself what's the destination requires you to reflect on, am I even living my life based on a program that I've developed? Am I in a career that I actually mess with? Am I studying something? Am I even in school? For me, that's that's why I said it's so. That's why it's like, I say this with a grain of salt, because I know it's about you, really, in your heart. So if a person is really saying that, you got to reflect on yourself and ask, where am I trying to go? And have I made any efforts to really get there? And if you've made efforts to get there and they haven't worked, you got to ask yourself, what haven't I tried? You get into that place where you feel like you're running around in circles, I'm at the point where I'm going, all right, so let me just professionally start Googling if I should go talk to somebody that might be on it, to ask them, right? People around you that's close to you, right? And at the end of the day, it really matter what they all say, because you got to take it, down with it,
and apply it.
Whether it's working for you. But what's the destination? And if you haven't made if you feel like, I don't know what I need to do to change, I done looked everywhere, and now it's like, okay, I gotta go ask for help now, because I feel like that's the only thing I haven't done. I might as well do it. Now after you do that, whatever steps you take, whether that's trying to find a therapist, because like I said, it's hard to find that. So I'm multifaceted, but I'm like, all right, you done made an appointment, you trying to look, but then start asking yourself, what you gonna ask them? Because what you're gonna ask them is what you might have asked yourself, not have asked yourself, right? Because you don't really want the answer. You know what I'm saying? You don't really wanna, or you might say, I know what needs to change. I don't know how to stop it. You know what I mean? That's a step above that. A lot of times people are going places, like I said, even me going into this field, I'm involved in past. I'm in this field to help because of how hurt I was. No, because they evolved past that. Do I love this, right? That's people literally live their lives through their trauma. They say, if you do research, that you project this reality with your subconscious mind. Your mind is actually a projector. So that means that if you carry trauma, you literally project trauma onto everything that you're looking at and that you're watching. You can literally think that you're not doing that.
Wow.
And being rational, you're still projecting your past onto everything that you're seeing and evaluating what you want to do with your life, who you want to be with, you know what I'm saying? All of that could be, you know what I'm saying? And in order for you to notice that, that's some heavy evaluation. Like you could be in a trance, like you could literally be in a, so you could project, I only want to watch movies that validate my trauma. Only people that want to hear me vent all day about the same things, because I can't stop talking about it because I'm so hurt. And then the culture we're in tries to embrace it likes to practice victimhood culture. Victimhood culture is the validating people and helping people to make feel heard that they've been taken advantage of, disrespected, and neglected. You only are in that space for a period of time. When you continue to hold a person there and let them stay there, that's not love, because now you're letting them stay in a position because they're not ready to move, but they're telling you, I'm in so much pain that I need to move.
Yeah.
But actually, I'd rather just sit here and just keep talking about something that happened in the past. What are you doing? You are projecting. Your subconscious mind is so powerful that it could stay in the past and literally never be in the present. But it's so powerful that you can actually undo that program and be in the present. It just takes hella. It could be a person, a barrier. It could be a friend. It could be like, remember, you got so many components. You got your avatar. It could be something you eating. It could be anything. It requires time. I know people that just chilling so much with people that they love to be around that they never be alone long enough, or they fear to be alone, or they fear the dark. They fear something, like, so they like, yo, I'm just gonna keep creating this system just to be able to evaluate where you're trying to go, where you've been, what this day last year, what was you doing? Is it the same? The variation. Be real with yourself. Don't say, yo, it's not the same. Like, I don't this year, I know I got GERD, so I'm gonna stop eating Kennedy's. I'm just ordering oxtails. It's different. You're still getting GERD. Okay. Right? Like let's not do that. Okay.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? But improvement is, you know what I mean? Your improvement, any little improvement is something. It's just about being real with yourself. Like,
word. I appreciate that, man. I think part of, it's again, it goes back to that piece of it being an internal thing, right? And knowing thyself, and you really have to be honest with yourself. And sometimes we get caught up and we're not, we tell ourselves stories that were told to us, and now we think that that's our story. And so we keep, telling it to ourselves. I think, one of the things that popped up, and I feel like I got to say it just because it's important, right? This idea of knowing thyself is also knowing thy history, right? Because, we mentioned earlier how it gets passed down. And so, they talk, I feel like in general, right, it's talked about how much history is important, and you got to know in order to know where you're going, you got to know where you've been, right? And so when we think about our own individual history, we have to know where we come from. We have to know where we've been, right? Because technically our ancestors were us before we got here, right? And so where were they? What have they been through? Because now we're carrying some of those bags, right? There's a line, I don't know if I wrote it in a song at some point, but I've certainly thought about it, right? It's like, everybody want to get to the bag without getting in the bag, right? Like, everybody want to get to the bag without getting in the bag. And I think it's important to get in that bag and really explore what's in it, though. Right? Like, everybody's like, yo, I'm in my bag. It's like, well, what's in the bag? Pull it out. Let me see. Like, what's up? Like, what's in there? So yeah, man, I think it's crucial. And before we go, I feel like it's crucial, right? Because I think you kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier in the conversation, especially in times like right now, right? We saw what happened not too long ago with our brother Jacob Blake, right? How crucial is, whether it's therapy or self-care or emotional mental wellness in a time like this, man?
Listen, let me tell y'all something. I don't care. I'm straight up saying this right now, bro.
Okay.
There is a lot going on at work here, right? And you've got to be in perspective of yourself again with what's taking place.
Yep.
People that belong on the front lines, because that's their position, that's their journey. There's people that we are burning inside. We cannot be out on the front lines because all we're going to do is go out and hurt everybody around us trying to be activists. The hallway. Let's keep it fully real, right? There's some of y'all that don't need to watch that video again to feel the pain of the family. That's the journey they're working at. You can provide support. You can provide empathy. You want to keep that empathy up. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't even imagine if I'm Jacob Blake or if I'm the family trying to process. You can't, right? You want to keep that empathy up. You want to but you want to remember your position And you want to remember that you can't sit online all day and absorb that energy. You have to take breaks, right? Because some of this is intentional to keep you distracted from that knowing thyself. Because let's keep it real. There's going to be another one, and it's not going to stop. So it's a combination of community, working on your emotional, mental health, you actually gotta go harder with that.
Yeah, they say self-care is a form of activism.
Exactly. I see students that's like out there feeling guilty, coming to seek help, feeling like they need to be on front lines. I said, listen, homie, if you seek help, you're gonna get on the front lines because you're gonna feel better to be able to go make the move. Because at the end of the day, your journey's the same journey, right? And what all you're gonna do is all that's gonna happen is your spirit is gonna knock you on your ass again, right? You're gonna have to get up and go do what you didn't do 10 years ago when you fucked something else up. That's all that's gonna really happen.
Yeah, literally.
And then what we could do, we can go, it's the system now. And that's crazy. Because it is. But it's not it, but nothing's coming to save you. That's the issue. Right? Attention. Look, like go study history right now. There's no difference between lynchings and police brutality. It's the same thing. The only trick is that the assault on your psyche is harder because everything's poison. The food is poison, the water's poison, the air's poison, the technology is poison, everything is poison. It's really hard to get away from poison without destruction. So you know what I'm saying? So you're gonna have to be more like, oh damn, like if I'm going to the community meeting, when I go there and all I do is be foul to everybody most of the time because I'm not stable, but I want to be at the community meeting. To be community oriented, I need to go home and get it right because I can't be there because I'm messing with it. I'm messing up. Then I'm complaining and I'm doing all of the work. You know, even though I want to do all the work because I can't see that I'm going so hard because I care so much about people that I'm taking up all the space. So I'm saying like, now, don't keep watching that video, but make sure you got a place to reflect, a place to process. You can go vent, get somebody that can chill with you and make you feel heard. You know what I'm saying? Do something that speaks to your soul, but don't forget, you know yourself. Don't do what you think you should be doing, what somebody told you should be doing, what you think means to honor something. You are honoring your ancestors by knowing thyself. I have been getting bodied by not listening to that myself, which is why this year is a very different year. You know what I'm saying? It's a 4. It's about seeing vision. It's about seeing what.
You're going to get into the numbers, kid. We talking about that.
You see the unseen. You're supposed to see it. You don't see it now. You know what I mean? That means that because all you see, right, is trauma. That's the trick. Your subconscious mind could actually take breaks from that. But they got you feeling like that's all you can see is what you've been hurt by. Nah, that's also an illusion because this is all an illusion. So like I said, you want to be the real sage is a middleman, is balance. Balance. You want to be in the middle. I cried, I screamed yesterday, taking moves. I did something for myself. I might go into a meeting, balance. Don't stay in one area too long because now you're stagnant, you're not growing. Don't fall for the illusion. I was long-winded there, but
I appreciate that, man. So, all right, man. It's over an hour. You know, I think, you know, I mean, we could talk about this for God knows how long, man, right? Because we do this all the time, me and you, John.
Yes.
But last thing, if there's anything that, you know, you want to make sure you say that probably you haven't shared as of yet, that you think is important to leave folks with. I think we covered a lot. I think we talked about a lot. You know, what's one last thing that you want to make sure is said, and then I'll close us.
I just throw a little technique in there. Like one of the meditation forms that's been helping me low key, because you know I got the super chatter brain. It's listening to my favorite songs and pretending that I'm performing them.
You told me about this.
That meditation has been very, very helpful to me because it doesn't really require me to put down the chatter, but really the goal in meditation is to get your brain on a single wave frequency. Single wave frequency. You can do that if you are so passionate about something that you're listening to that you automatically are concentrated. So it has reduced my ability to continue to do it enough that now I'm able to do visualizations. Visualizations have always been trash to me. I could do them for my students, but I never could do them. Now I could do them. That from Brother Panic. You know what I'm saying? Brother Panic's another one of the master physicians that I learned some stuff from. Like, dudes, I learned more from some of them. I learned more from them than I ever learned from any institution about anything mental health related. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
So that meditation been, that was hooked. Like even if you performing it for people, like even if you picture yourself with your mans singing it together, like something that helps create the vibe where like you saying the lyrics word for word organically, and eventually I start doing whole albums. You know what I'm saying? Turn into 30-minute meditations. Now I'm like, oh, you start doing meditations, right? Then you start doing that level of visualization. You'll start pulling memories out your Akashic records that you forgot about. Because that's in your records, in your subconscious mind, making you still do the same things that you used to do. I started remembering shit. I said, oh, that. I erase that from my subconscious mind. And I know you don't erase it. Your subconscious mind sees everything and remembers all things, right? Even I'm not even gonna get into that because that's too far.
Well, I love that activity though, because it definitely reminded me of like when I write songs, right? Like when I write songs, I got the beat on loop, and it's like nothing else in the world exists but me in that moment. And usually the way I write them is because the music sparks something within me. There's an emotion that comes forth from the instrumentation, and so it's like go there, whatever that is, hone in on that, figure out what that is, what are those emotions, and usually I end up pulling from my own subconscious, like my own experiences, my own challenges, my own lessons. Like that's a lot of what I write is my own experience, or perhaps an experience that I observed and witnessed, from someone else that I can relate to, or you know what I'm saying. So I felt like it's somewhat similar in that regard.
Meditate when you make music, Josue. It's just a fact. You do that.
Thank you. I was thinking I'm gonna have to bring you to the next show. I'm gonna have to pull you on stage so you can perform.
Listen, and just to add to that, pay attention to your dreams. I'm just saying, if they nightmares, trust me. Everything you're looking for is in you. I'm telling you.
I believe that. I tell students, I tell people I work with, people I coach, and students, I always tell them, like, you have the answers. It's just a matter of finding them. They're in you. I don't know. People be like, oh, you said, it's like, nah, I'm just helping you pull it out, right? I'm helping you get into the bag and pull them out and throw stuff around and then piece it together and say, yo, here's what's in there. Here's what you've been looking at. Here's what you've been trying to find. It's in you. You have the answers. It's just a matter of figuring out where they are. So yeah,
because what that would mean is this, and I can't help myself. I have to add this part.
Okay.
That would mean then that your ancestors and the people that pass on.
Say that again.
The ancestors and the people that pass on from your life.
Yep.
That would mean that they're where? They're inside of you.
Got you. Yeah.
Subconscious mind has everything. It's in you already. Yeah. None of this might not have even happened if you projected it, because that means that it's there.
Yeah.
Allegory. All the stories are allegory for transcend your higher self. Remember who you are. Know yourself, bro. Every single holy book says the same thing over and over again, literally. But believe it. I'm gonna just leave it there.
So, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Appreciate y'all time. John, first and foremost, bro, I got to thank you, my man. Like, because you don't even do social media. You don't do none of that, bro. And so for you to take time, out of your day after work, to take time out of your day, knowing that you got family and things to tend to, right? Just spending the time with us to share your wisdom, share your knowledge, and just chat with me. Because I feel like we was just having a conversation like we usually do, And so I just thank you, John. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, La. To everybody that tuned in and stayed with us, we got up to almost, I think it was like 17, 18, and still 11 people here. You know what I'm saying? So that, to me, that's a win. That's a blessing. That means that people stayed because it was relevant and it was important. And so I want to thank you for joining us. I appreciate y'all. Shout out, real quick, John, Quasi wanted me to tell you what's up. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, Quincy. He was like, yo, I tell John I said what's up. And I was like, yo, come through. You can tell him yourself. So I wanted to make
Yo,
sure.
Quincy was good, man.
he in the chat there real quick, man.
That's the homie. Yeah, man. That's the homie right there.
But yeah, so folks, you know, get that book, Medical Apartheid. I encourage you to read that because that gives a lot of light in terms of how, you know, the stigma around institutions that are supposed to help us mentally, emotionally, physically have been corrupted all along. They weren't designed for us, and that's where our stigma starts in some regards with the institutions. So definitely read that. If you haven't watched the therapy video, by all means, please go. It's on YouTube. It's on IG, my bio. Just go to the links and you can find it there. John's actually in the video, which we ain't even talk about that, but I'm glad that you was part of the video, man. That was huge for me. You know, that was huge to have you to be part of that video, man. And we had great times. We did a lot of laughing. But yeah, so if you haven't seen that, go check it out. If you haven't seen this, if you haven't listened to the Self-Care album, links in the bio as well. You can find it on YouTube. Go check that out. And yeah, yo, you know, I wish y'all peace. I wish y'all love. I pray that the sun may always shine in y'all part of the world, especially when the people that you love most are present. John, stick around because I want us to wrap up before, you know what I'm saying, it all ends. Yeah,
I got one book suggestion.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Oh, I got one too. I can share one too. Go ahead.
Yo, The Greatest Story Never Told by Lana Corrine Cantrell. You'll never be the same after you read this book. I promise you.
Yep. So say that one more time, just in case people missed it.
The Greatest Story Never Told by Lana Cantrell, a scientific inquiry. Yep. What is it? A scientific inquiry into why the computer got to be a hater. A scientific inquiry into the evidence of ancient civilization, please. It's all to the evidence of the fall of man from a higher civilization and antiquity. I read this book.
Yeah. Yo, one that I even suggested for you that I would recommend for folks. I actually got it right over her. It's I don't know if folks could see that.
Adult Children of that book right there.
Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. And the author's name is right there. I don't even know if YouTube allows this. They might take this down, but whatever. We try and help them out, right? But yo, my therapist actually recommended this, and I haven't finished it yet. I'm 7 chapters in out of like 9 or 8. I think it's 9. So that's another book that I would definitely encourage people to get. It starts that emotional work, you know, and kind of learning thyself, knowing thyself. So yeah, again, thank you all. I pray, you know, peace, love, and happiness. May the sun shine in your part of the world, especially when the people that you love most are there. Peace out, y'all.